to the comic shop. I'll let you read about Cyclops. I'll have you spending all you got. Ravage is looking hot, Dixon.
Hey, Big Legit back in the house, ready to talk to all you beautiful people out there about comic books from the 20th century that move the needle. Now, if you recall, we did this one a few episodes back, Ravage 2099, a hidden gem from Marvel's history. This was actually written by Stan the Man Lee. And even though I didn't necessarily care for Ravage's costume, comprised of parts from a junkyard, and his ridiculous red hair, I did enjoy the story in this comic book. And just to quickly review here, Dak was this kid. He's going to be killed by these bad guys here, and we'll get into that here in just a second. So this is Paul Philip Ravage. He is the CEO of Eco, which is a subsidiary of Alchemax, which is the big evil corporation in the 2099 imprint. And he discovers this kid is about to get killed. And he's like, you can't kill this kid. I'm in charge of Eco, and you work for me. So he like knocks the hell out of all these bad guys. And then he takes the kid to Anderthorpe Henton, who is the director general of the Alchemax Corporation, and explains, you know, this young man claims his father was murdered by eco agents while attempting to name names in the pollution hierarchy. You have to understand, in the 1990s, the most important thing to left-leaning individuals was pollution. The way they talk about climate change today is how much they talked about pollution and the environment back in the early 90s. So, you know, obviously, Anderthorpe, you know, isn't buying the kid's story, even though he knows the kid's telling the truth. And he basically puts a hit on Ravage and the kid, which is ridiculous. You know, who's going to do that to poor Dak? And you know, calls it in. This is like the sexy chick who basically like Ravage kind of has this relationship with. And she's going to get herself caught up in the chaos too. And they sent this Mutroid. Mutroids they're not mutants. There are still mutants in 2099. Mutroids are kind of like the Solomon Grundy of mutants, or they're just these big, nasty blob, real muties, real super muties. And they live on Hell Rock, which is this polluted island that no normal human can survive on. So basically, you know, he puts, you know, the bad guy Anderthorpe put the hit on Ravage here, and Solomon Grundy showed up, and you know they kind of have this brawl, and then these guards show up, and Ravage kicks their ass, and realizes that you know he's been set up by Anderthorpe. He saves the girl, jump out the window, and you know holding on, swings in, blah 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 blah, takes the girl to Dak, to his you know crappy apartment in Hell's Kitchen. And then, you know, what is weird about this is the entire comic, for the first 24 pages, Paul Philip Ravage speaks like an intelligent, articulate man. But as soon as, you know, all hell breaks loose, he kind of starts to change the way he talks. And I didn't notice it in Ravage #1. And, you know, and then, of course, he goes to the junkyard and, you know, picks up a hubcap to use as a shield, you know, like a rock. And this is what we end up with. Now, keep this in mind, like this bright red hair and this outfit. And now he's slowly kind of changed. No more playing by their games. Now we play by mine. That garbage truck must have been here since the turn of the century. It's old and rusting, but look at the size of her. The power. She's solid still, bigger and stronger than the plastic junk they make today. So, you know, he still's a garbage truck, right? Still's a garbage truck, and then he's going to go... You know, inevitably he's going to run into Deathstrike, who is the leader of the Mutroids and runs Hell Rock. So, this story was actually kind of good, and the way that the 2099 imprint was all set up was very clever, and a lot of that goes to Joey Cavalieri, who was the editor on the 2099 imprint. He made sure that all the books dovetailed together really nicely. But I don't want to talk about Ravage 2099 #1. I want to talk about Ravage 2099 #2. And I also want to talk about Ravage 2099, number 3. Because I picked these up because they were written by Stan the Man Lee. And here we have another, fun Ravage cover. It's not too different. None of these covers are too different from each other. All kind of similar. But anyway. This is the part that I do not like. Well, first of all, it looks like this guy has an axe in his head. But he doesn't. That's just strapped to his back. It just looks like it's in his head. I don't know what he's doing with the little mini keyboard either. So this guy basically wants to run Hellrock. He thinks Deathstrike's a big puss cake. Deathstrike shows up and kicks the crap out of him, which is all right. I'm still holding on here. And then they had this preview that they put out like a couple weeks before Ravage number 1 debuted. And what sucks is that this next scene, this is all from that preview. And what's weird is that he's got this white tuft of hair now that he did not have at all in the first comic book. And it doesn't explain where it came from. And the way he talks now is just completely the opposite of how a guy who just stopped being the CEO of a company, like literally yesterday, is now speaking this colloquial accent, considering how Alchemax tried to give me the shaft. There's a poetic justice about me raiding them to get the equipment I want. See, I just hate this. I'm fine with a character that talks like this. I'm not fine with a guy losing his job and suddenly speaking broken English. Gimme, considering, raiding, to get. Lots of this T stuff. I hate that crap. It works, when Wolverine does it. It's not working when Ravage does it because just yesterday, like I said, he was in charge of a corporation. And now he's totally changed the way he speaks, and he has a white tuft of hair, which we should have saw something major happen in his life that caused his hair to turn white. That would at least make some sense. So it's just kind of disappointing. Also, he's a guy that drives around in a dump truck, and that's not anything great, even though the dump truck can, break through that concrete barrier there and shoot around, and who gives a shit, right? I've always hated the Bullseye. Tom DeFalco and the Bullseye is just the stupidest waste of a page I've ever seen, At least Stan always has something to say. Not feeling so much there. And then he steals this Kevlar and lines his jacket with it. He sews. He's a man who can sew. That's a talent. And then Anderton here is, he's ready to, just get rid of Ravage. We got to get rid of Ravage, and we've got to keep Hellrock going and keep the pollution going. That is always the number one goal of a corporate villain in the 80s or 90s, is to keep the pollution going and keep the city as corrupt as possible. It is very similar to a politician today regarding the corruption aspect, not so much the pollution. So Deathstrike has like this seer who can see what's going on in other places and have visions and all this jazz, right? So now Ravage is like hooked this thing up to his dump truck, and he's going to dig a hole so that he can hide his dump truck underground. It's just stupid. Again, like a rock, we got that Chevy hubcap, and that's going to save his life, I guess, from bullets and these bad guys who want to fight him and steal his truck. They're going to... This line I do not understand. Do we take the truck first and then kill him? Or should we save the best for last? I feel like this is backwards. This should have been, should we kill him and then take the truck? Or should we save the best for last? Because you think every bad guy, it's like, killing is the most fun for a bad guy, right? It's always killing. And Sunset Riders, there it is again. I wonder where they shot this at, this picture. This is fun for me. So Ravage, of course he kicks all these goons, bad guys, and they don't get his dump truck. And then this is really fun. So Anderthorpe here is, giving an interview to the public. The public has nothing to fear from Mutroids. Alchemax has the situation under control, blah, 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 blah. I love this. This is the year 2099. Keep this in mind, kids. 2099. the red phone is blinking. I had to get them out so I can answer it. So he's got the red phone, and I love that it's got the little line right there. You know, that's supposed to be a little antenna. The antenna's not in this picture, but that is an antenna on this cordless phone. This is called a cordless phone, kids. It's different than a cellular phone. I don't want to necessarily call it the precursor, because it seems like cell phones and cordless phones kind of came out around the same time. And I am very amused that in the future, this dude is going to have a cordless phone. And I love that it's red. So what I'm guessing is like, this is maybe Bruce Wayne. Like he somehow prolonged his life, changed his name to Anderthorpe. And now but he's still got that red phone that the commissioner calls him on. So, you know, then Ravage shows up to talk to the chick again. And they have like a big fight. It's kind of dumb. And they're like, let's get out of here. We got to go. What good will that do you? And sure enough, Alchemax is after him. As soon as they get out of the building, all the Alchemax guys jump down. Don't move. You don't have a chance. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, Dragon Quest. So this was a game. And you can see that you get these little pewter pieces to play with. But it's just empty blocks. And so I never thought, like, the board looks cool, but not with empty blocks. And it's just like, what is this game? I don't get it. I mean, well, I can tell you what it is. It's a game that goes beyond video games. It's real adventure for real heroes. You and your friends roleplay fearless characters. Your team of heroes explores a world of dungeons, magic, monsters, traps, and treasures. With every game, the excitement, action, and suspense increase. So basically, this is just Dungeons and Dragons with a board. Instead of using your imagination, this is for kids who don't have imaginations. And I just can't imagine, like, is this a girl? I assume it's a girl because of this, but I'm not sure because girls wouldn't play this game. So, you know, basically there's this fight. I love she's an independent woman. She's too busy for a meaningful conversation right now. Once you taught me these moves in class, remember? I'm just getting my money's worth. So he used to teach like a hot yoga class with a little martial arts training in it. And that's where they met. And that's where she picked up, how to do this awesome crescent kick. Oh man, one of them dropped his blaster. And so like the brother goes for the blaster and he gets shot. He's like, Dak! He shot Dak! Big mistake. So Ravage takes him out. The kid's bleeding. And then like this thing has a tractor beam and it just sucks her up into it. Tiana! And she's gone. So now they got the drop on him pretty well. They stole the chick. They hand her this red suit. Put on this garment. It actually does say that. Put on this garment. Why? What is that? An anti-radiation suit. Anti-radiation? There's only one place they wear such things. Right, and that's where you're going. Hell Rock. Ooh, so things are getting a little intriguing here in this Ravage number 2. And check it out, no staple. Somehow no staple made it into this comic book. We got one there, but not one there. It wasn't pulled out, clearly. So, a little issue there with the printer. And this is actually maybe my favorite part of this comic book because I didn't know that there was a Wayne's World VHS board game. Oh, VCR board game. Excuse me. Does come with a board game. It comes with a 45-minute original video featuring Wayne and Garth. Swing! This chick is smoking hot, too. And it's too bad that it doesn't actually tell you who it is. But she is very attractive, and I do like how she is dressed, and I think that is very cute. Get a backstage pass, party maker, pizza pie. Oh, Grey Poupon. Now, if you haven't seen Wayne's World, you're missing this reference here. So I'm going to suggest that you check it out. And then around the edge, it actually says something. It says, Dweebs, you are not worthy of even... It says, Dweebs, you are not worthy of even glancing at the unattainable mega babe above. But you can play the coolest, most excellent game in the universe till you hurl. Just pop the Wayne and Garth videotape into your VCR, and those raucous rockers will lead you round the totally awesome game board right into Party Central. On the way, collect party makers, babes, and hunks, and a coveted backstage pass. Become the ultimate party animal. Then maybe you'll be good enough for the babe. Yeah, right. And monkeys might fly out of my butt. So yeah, if you haven't seen Wayne's World 1 and 2, watch that. If you haven't read Ravage number 2, well, well, keep watching this video. I guess I'll just go ahead and say. Ravage number 3, Horror at Hell Rock. It's time to take out the trash. And again, he still has that little white streak in his hair. Maybe he did that on himself. Maybe he wanted to just make that platinum. Maybe the girls find that attractive in 2099. I'm not sure. You know, it's pretty clear that he's kind of got a Snake Plissken sort of escape from, you know, New York vibe to him. I don't really care. Scottie Pippen, number 33. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Oh, and we flash back again. Still being written by Stan Lee. This is being penciled by Paul Ryan. And Dak has been shot, so we get this great recap. Good job, Stan, with the writing. I really like this page here. This really sums up what's going on here. How they're basically threatening Dak, like, you better talk or we'll let you die. And he, best offer I had all day. At least I'll be rid of y'all. And then like this orderly who's very unkempt comes in, and it turns out fake beard. Fake friggin' beard, people. Stan! There he is, nurse. Nurse, what are my chances of getting out of this place? Nil. Nobody ever leaves a Metacell alive, and Stan is just like, what? So anyway, Terminator 2, the arcade game, the arcade version with this cabinet with the gun on it, totally awesome. I don't know how the Game Boy game and the Sega Genesis game compares to the cabinet, which was cool. So, you know, basically like Ravage has come and he's like, you know, I'm not taking you with me, kid. I just came to see if you were okay. And it's just like, so you endanger the kid's life even more, and you're not going to take him with you. And we got, of course, you know, the lazy security guard. And then you know these two security guards are official because they wear hats and these awesome, like, SS jackets. Gestapo jackets. And he's, you know, just trying to hit on the chick. And they're like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, no, nothing. I'm just watching the monitors. And they're, you know, how's the criminal? And, oh, there's a nurse in there with a red beard. Hey, where does Red Beard go? That's weird. Ravage. And so, like, the real stormtroopers go running after him. Ravage slips his red beard back up because he's going to sneak out and leave the kid. Hey, big man, ain't I going with you? You don't want to go where I'm going. As long as they figure you're their only link to me, you're safer here than on the outside. I guess so. Oh, the Wing Commander. Now, if you never saw the Wing Commander movie, save your time. It was crap. Don't watch it. Just saved you 90 minutes of your life. Aren't you happy? And so, you know, basically, you know, he gets in this fight. He kicks the crap out of the stormtrooper guards, all while still wearing the beard. And he's like, I'm out of here. And then, oh no, more guards in the hallway. I gotta run and bust through the window. And so he like breaks through the window, leaves the kid there, dude. Just like leaves this kid in danger. Imagine the torture that these guards are going to put this kid through now that Ravage has come to visit him. It's, we know he told you something. What'd he tell you, kid? You better tell us. We're gonna torture you. We've got an anal probe that's red hot, and we're gonna stick it right where the sun doesn't shine if you don't tell us what Ravage told you. And Ravage just is like, I'm out, and jumps out the window, falls to his death. No, he doesn't fall to his death. Oh, John Crook. He batted .323 last year. Or was that the number of hot dogs he ate? I'm not sure. I can't tell by that photo. Oh, and Ravage lands in the back of his dump truck that he's conveniently filled with mattresses. That was very smart of him to do. He jumps in the ride, pulls off his beard, feeling safe finally now that he's in the garbage truck, and he drives away in a garbage truck, which doesn't go that fast. Okay, so here we got Tiana, and she's, you know, in the red suit to keep her from getting radiation. She's on, it's not called Hell Island, Hell Rock. It's an island. It's called Hell Rock. It's poisonous. We've talked about this. So, you know, he's just like, you're just the bait, baby. Like, I don't need you, you know. Since when does the most merciless killer of the century worry about one helpless female? Well, that's, you know, might be some sexism in that line.
Your assumption is correct. It is not your welfare that concerns me. I may desire you later, and I have little interest in damaged goods.
So he's not going to, basically what's happening here is he is not going to let these two guys rape her because he might want to rape her later. What a bad guy.
We can afford to wait.
Wait for what?
Once Deathstrike is done with you, you'll be ours for the taking.
Don't hold your fetid mutroid breath. I'm not some sniveling weakling who will curl up and beg for mercy.
You talk big now, woman, but you haven't yet learned what life is like on Hell Rock.
He's right. I haven't a prayer. Not even Ravage can save me now. There you go, right? See, they would never let a woman do that now. Not a chance, buddy.
Here on Hell Rock, I am absolute master of all I survey. No army on earth would dare to attack me.
Yet here comes, a boat.
And they're like, oh, it's the Alchemax ship has arrived. Yay, more cargo of supplies. We get it every month.
And,
make sure that Ravage isn't on there.
well, who do you think's on there? Ravage. And he's got on a much better costume than his green junkyard costume. He's still wearing that stupid hubcap from Chevy. Did Chevy pay for that? That's what I want to know. If you know the answer, go ahead and put it in the comments below. I want to know, did Chevy pay for this product placement that occurs throughout this comic book? Because he didn't have to put the Chevrolet logo on there. He did on purpose. Paul Ryan did that for a reason. Either he loves Chevy or they gave him some shekels to do it. Since you bothered to ask, I'll try giving you a little demonstration.
It's him!
Lousy grammar. You mean it's he, but I'll forgive you this time. I do not understand. Because this guy's grammar turned to crap. We just talked about that. In the first issue, he speaks like an adult. And in this one, he speaks like a thug. And now he's complaining about this guy's grammar when, look at this guy. Look at, how he has to dress. He's like a juiced out Joker or something. And, his grammar's bad because he said it's him? It's he? Is that really proper grammar? If you got some sort of a degree in English, please put in the comments below which grammar is appropriate. I think they're both appropriate, but either way, this is the stupidest dialogue to put in a comic book. It makes no sense.
You're smaller than I thought. I'll crush you like a gnat.
So, of course, my boy Ravage is just going to take them all out, and he just beats the crap out of everybody. And this is like the Lizard meets Sauron is the only way I can really describe this character here. And Deathstrike is just having fun. It's like a game for him. The Seer warns him, you better get your shit together. And he's like, I don't care. I'm having fun. And so then he shows up and he just takes the helmet off of her, and Ravage is just like, her helmet, don't take it off. The air's toxic. Let her go. I'm the one you want. And then he just rips her clothes off right down to the panties. And this nice little undershirt that she was wearing with no bra. I noticed, no bra.
You're too late. Because of your attack, she'll be protected no more. Without these specifically treated garments, the radiation on this isle will turn her into a mutroid in one short hour.
I did not play Mystic Quest. I am not a big fan of RPGs, but I always thought that this ad was so awesome looking. That's all I wanted to say about that. Tiana! No! And he grabs her and runs away. And why couldn't all these bad guys do anything? And it turns out that, it's because Deathstrike didn't want anything done.
Nonsense! This will afford me some much-needed amusement.
There's no way he can escape me. So basically, this guy's running Disneyland, the polluted, toxic Disneyland for mutroids. And this is a game they play where,
why do we run? The longer the hunt, the greater the reward.
So basically he comes, he strips down, he's like, wear this. And she's like, but what about you? He's like, I don't care if I turn into a mutroid. He literally says, there's some great droid women I had my eye on. This will give me a chance to score with some of them. But he loves her. But now he's talking about banging ugly mutroid girls. So figure that out. But after the next 60 minutes, who knows what the radiation will do to you?
Clam up, will ya? Don't spoil my one chance to make like a hero. Y'all buttoned up? Okay, everything's clear. Now move it!
So they run, and he gets her to the ship because the ship is going to leave automatically on its own. Another crappy Tom DeFalco stupid bullpen bulletin. Whatever. You sacrificed your life for me. How can I go? And
I'll tell you how. By shutting your yap and letting go of the merchandise. I got things to do.
It's like, and then he runs. Like, why didn't he just go with her? Like, he's going to stay here. He's going to fight. And he raises his little stick, his little, I don't know, death rattle. Shakes it.
My body feels like it's on fire. The droid change must be starting.
Because the pollution changed, you remember? And so, you know, he runs. He just keeps running.
Should we go after him? We've been waiting for a kill. Do what you want. It doesn't matter. But I fear you'll be disappointed.
The radiation may finish him first. So, and then Stan, of course, in the Rants and Raves, Stan the man tells us that our boy Ravage in the next issue is going to get a power, some sort of power. Will it help him? Will it hurt him? Oh, we don't know, true believers. You'll have to tune in and find out. I'm not tuning in and finding out. Game Genie. Chuck rocks. I'm not tuning in and I'm not finding out because I don't like the way Ravage talks anymore. He sounds like a hobo. And I'm fine with Wolverine sounding like a hobo because Wolverine's a badass and can talk however he wants because he's got really cool adamantium claws and a healing factor. So, you know, it doesn't matter what you got to say about how he talks. He'll just kick your butt and then heal himself. Ravage, on the other hand, dressed himself at a junkyard, put a white streak in his hair for a reason that I don't understand. Look. See? Isn't that interesting? And so ultimately, like, even though this is written by Stan Lee, it kind of got weak after the first issue. And I'm not that interested in how this ends. I know Stan's run goes till, I think, issue 8, maybe. And people say it's pretty good, but this just isn't, like, I'm half tempted to pick up issue 4. I don't have issue 4 because I couldn't find it at my favorite comic shop. And I don't, you know, I'm really what's going to happen is I'm going to forget about this because while Ravage number 1 did move the needle for me, 2 and 3 just kind of fell off and did not move the needle for me. So I'm sad. Now, but if you out there, if you read Ravage 2099 and you read Stan Lee's whole run as the writer on this, tell me if I'm making a mistake here. Is it wrong for me to give up after issue 3 and just say, yeah, it's not for me? Or is this going to actually improve and be as good as issue number 1 was? That's what I would like to know. If you'd be kind enough to tell me in the comments below, I will know what to pick up. And that's pretty much it for this comic book review on Testosterone Overload. Please like, please subscribe, hit that ding dong for notifications. And I will see you again very soon with another totally awesome comic book review on Testosterone Overload!